How's it going? Welcome to a brand new edition of the Build Series, live right here in New York City. My name is Kevin Kenny, and our guest today is a multi-platinum Grammy Award-winning singer whose brand new album, Lovers Rock, is due out everywhere September 7th. Let's show some love for Estelle. Now, before we get Estelle out here on stage to have a discussion about the new album, we have a music video of hers for the song Better for you to check out at home.
Hit me up on the low. Don't you stop when we go. Keep me on tippy toes now. You let that thing when it poke out. You see when I'm walking away. You feed and you want me to stay. Let's leave, get away for the day. Top floor reservation. We could get comfortable. I get you comfortable. I show you something. Twist up that antidote. Show me that animal. Go ahead and give it all to me, baby. No one in the world. No one in the world. No one in the world can love you better, better than I. No one in the world. They try, but you have my body hot from the first kiss. You gotta keep it simple, baby, that's it. Then go a little deeper than the surface, so you can hurt this on purpose. Tell me how it feel, how it feel. Tell me if I grip you well. Tell me what you want, you help. Tell me what you want. We could get comfortable. I get you comfortable. I show you something. Twist up that antidote. Show me that animal. Go ahead and give it all to me, baby. No one in the world. No one in the world. No one in the world can love you better, better than I. No one in the world. They try, but no one loves you better, better. No one loves you better, better. No one in the world. No one in the world. No one in the world can love you better, better than They try,
Joining us now live in studio, Estelle.
Having a time.
It's quite the welcome.
I know, thank you.
You were amongst friends, clearly.
I feel special, thanks.
Thank you so much for stopping by.
Thanks for having me, man.
Must just be such a cool, just aside from the record, just such a cool time in your life, because really Lovers Rock is sort of a return to your roots.
It sure is, 100%. I was born bang in the middle of like the genre Lovers Rock when it started in the 80s in the UK, so like pretty much, yeah.
So is that actually taken from a genre of music, Lovers Rock?
Absolutely. It's like a subgenre of reggae music that originated in the UK in like 79, 77, 79. And I was born in 1980. So, and my dad had a lot to do with it back in the day as an artist and a musician, so.
There's so much I want to talk to you about, but
Yeah.
let's start right there. I didn't know about this genre. So what are the
Amazing.
characteristics of the subgenre of Lovers Rock?
So it's like reggae music, but focuses on love songs in particular, like real love songs with like real doo-wop harmonies and stuff like that. Kind of like, I want to say, in layman's terms, an R&B version of reggae. Like a straight love song, R&B, reggae music though. with a reggae beat. Yeah.
So, I mean, aside from the great work we're going to get September 7th on this, is there anybody right now that you think is out there making lovers rock music or something akin to it?
Just me.
Yeah, exactly.
Pretty much just me. Not on the pop scale.
Right.
But definitely the genre never went away.
Yeah.
People are still making lovers rock as far as music, and there's some great artists who I was influenced by, like Dennis Brown and Beres Hammond and Baron Levy, going further back, that were the originators and that kind of hold it down.
Yeah.
All now. So.
Well, I love it. Here you are to save the day and bring it back to mainstream.
Save the
Great.
day.
So getting back to those roots and just growing up, from what I gather, it was a very musical household. A lot of music was being played in the house. Sonically, what did your childhood home sound like?
It sounded like soca music. It sounded like reggae music. It sounded like dancehall. It sounded like Nina Simone and Reefa Franklin, and it sounded like Makosa and Pepper Calais and all these different artists that my parents were firsthand bringing from Africa, or heard when they were over in Africa, the West Indies, and playing in our house. Like, this is what we listen to. And then you go to school, and then I listened to like Wham and Aha and Duran Duran in the best of the 80s, and I was out here like, oh, come home and be like, do-do-do-do-do-do-do.
Yeah.
It's a whole feeling. Yeah.
It's quite the foundation you had there. It's amazing. Yeah. You name drop Aretha. I have to ask you your thoughts. Of course, we lost her last week, of course. Just if you can try to put the Queen of Soul into words, how could you?
You can't.
Yeah.
She's the base of all of our sound. She's the base of all of our, every artist that I know that sings from a specific space. Where she said in one interview, she goes for the feeling. I understand, I feel it, I get it, and it's almost like the validation that there's nothing wrong with singing from your soul, no matter what genre you're in, and she did that so well her whole life. And the other thing I like to point out about Aretha that I really love is that she was the queen of the first of all. She was quick to let people know, you don't speak to me anyway. I put in work and I put in tenure, but also like I do this from a very real place, which to me is kind of important nowadays, to like have a very clear sense of self and not be afraid to defend that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I love Aretha.
Well, you talked about having a clear sense of self. How long did it take you to establish a clear sense of self in the world of music? Because I'm sure as you're starting out, a million different people want you to be a million different things.
Oh, yeah.
Did you have that just naturally?
I wouldn't say naturally. I would say it took me a minute to realize it, and then it took me a while to kind of be able to articulate it consistently. Because after a while, it started coming thick and fast. Oh, so you're this version of this person, and you're supposed to do this because you're from there. And I was out here like, can I, look, first of all, and when I got to that point, I stopped caring, and I think it's the best place to be and live your life, just not really caring about anyone else's perspective. And you're able to make music more freely and to care about the music more than you do about people's versions of what you're supposed to be.
Right. And I by the way, congratulations. A round of applause for having your own label nowadays.
Thank you.
Established 1980.
Yeah. I started the label because of that.
Yeah, that's where I was going with it.
Yeah, because first of all, it just got to a point where I realized me and my team were doing a lot of the work. And we don't necessarily need to be signed to a big old machine to do what we need to do anymore. And people who love the music, love the music. And like I said, I hit that point of freedom where I was like, I don't want this opinion. I like that opinion, and I value that opinion. And y'all can come over here and work with us.
Right. And that's a liberating feeling because the weight that falls off your shoulders is tremendous.
I didn't realize I was carrying it until I did that.
I hear that all the time.
And then it was just like, oh, this light feeling. What is it? This is glorious.
I only have to make the music the fans want, and I want. This is great.
This is wonderful.
Right.
Epiphany, mind blown.
Absolutely. Hey, and speaking of the music the fans wanted, your fans have really been clamoring, if we're being honest, since like your first record for you to do an album like this, a full reggae album. Why was now the time?
I started working on this 6 years ago, in truth, before my last album. Wow. I have been like doing records, just it's a reggae record. It's another reggae record. My team were just like, you want to just go and finish this? And I was just like, all right, chill out. But that's always been the way I work. I kind of just let it flow and gravitate towards what feels the best. 3 years ago, I started really working on this, like really full out. I'm going to work on a reggae, dancehall, soca record. And it just kind of just kept being this and being this really good. You know, I think with every artist, you just want to make a really great body of work. And to me, it just kept coming. The records kept coming. They were really, really good. And they just sounded like lovers rock or like soca, or like dancehall, or like African music. And they were like, you pretty much are making this album this then. And I was like, yeah, it's what it is.
Totally.
And I'm happy that the fans were loving it and they wanted it. You know, they were kind of like, at last, girl. What took you so long?
Exactly. What were you doing?
I had to live.
Another benefit of having your own label, you can take 6 years, 3 years to work on a body of
2
work.
years,
There's no guy in a suit saying, hey, Q4, we need this record.
But the B-side is I'm the guy in the suit. So at the back of my brain, I'm like, oh, God, hurry this up. I wish I'd have put this out last year. But, it then also gives me time to, like, do it right. That's the main thing, because these songs last forever. I think every record that I put out, from American Boy and further back, 1980, Conqueror, Thank You, I think they all stand the test of times because I can sing them back to back to back in any setting, and people know what they are and where they were when they heard them. And that's what we aim for. That's what I aim for when I make records, because I want to be here for the long run, Yeah. And that's what my core is.
So I think I already know the answer to this, but I still want to ask, you seem like an artist that your goal is a timeless record as opposed to maybe like a huge flash in the pan number one.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think that's why I make whole albums. And it's great when you have one record like American Boy which is 10 years old, by the way, which is just...
Well, also a 10-year anniversary of the Grammy.
Exactly.
Congratulations.
10 years
Belated,
old.
But still.
I feel special. No, it's a blessing when you make a great body of work and you have one record that just shoots off the charts, because it pushes that whole body out to the world too. But it's definitely, I walk into the studio, I walk into any scenario, like, no, I make albums. I make this whole rotation. I'm not just here for the one moment,
Right.
And I think my fans have kind of figured that out about me. Yeah, it's not just the one song, bro.
Yeah. Well, no, you have such a healthy outlook on so many of the things we're talking about here, especially American Boy, because I speak to a lot of artists that they have a hit that is that massive, and there's a little bit of a resentment there, of I don't want to play that anymore. I don't want to sing that anymore. No. But I think you look at it great because it's a gateway to everything else.
I'm so excited. Like, no idea. I get excited to sing American Boy. I'm like, this is something that connects with every person, every child. It's transgenerational. I have new Steven Universe fans. I'm on the card called Steven Universe, and I have new Steven Universe fans who are like, and you sing this song I used to listen to when I was 4? And I'm just like, oh my Lord. I'm an adult. But like, but they're into it now, and their moms used to play it, and their dad used to play it for them. And it's good. Like, I look at that like a beautiful thing. It's family, it's a lifestyle, it's what I grew up with. Artists that I listen to, me and my mom listened to them, and me and my dad listened to them, and me and my sisters, we were all into it. And it wasn't corny and it wasn't weird. It was just good music.
Right.
And that's what I've always wanted to do. So I'm good.
You're good.
It's great.
Cell's chilling right now.
We'll take it.
On the topic of American Boy, do I have this right? Are there 2 versions of that? Like, was Kanye originally on it, or did he hop on it?
No, he was on. So the song was okay. So here's how the song goes. The song was made, and we loved it, and everyone loved it, as was. And then he featured on it to be put on the album. We were just trying to think of a way to superpower it, like make it just go through the clouds as far as like everyone's going to love this record. How can we make them love this record? And I think we achieved that kind of a little bit.
Yeah, that's it. So, right?
People like it. So it was just
about
more,
10 years later.
But like, no, people love the record without with different versions of it. There's been like Croatian Boy, Grenadian Boy, Polish Boy, Thai Boy. It's unreal. And everyone's like, what do you think? And I'm just like, it's nice. It's a good song. Sound great. I don't know what to do.
Exactly. Make it your own.
It's great.
How did you meet Kanye back in the day, though? How did that whole thing happen?
I met him at Roscoe's in L.A. because I like chicken and waffles. Great.
That's really where you met Kanye?
That's real life. I did. That's why I met him. And then we caught up in the studio. But prior to that, I had been working independently and doing my thing. And I wanted to actually meet John Legend. And that was the part of it. I went up to him and said, "Oh, you're great. Love you." Well, he came out of chicken and waffles. And I was like, "You're great. Love you. Want to meet John Legend?" He was like, "You know him?" And I was like, "Yes, he's wonderful. He has a song. And, used to love you." And it was just a whole thing. And he was like, you should, all right, come on to the studio. And so I went, and I'm here like, so where is he? You know, we waiting for an hour. He wasn't actually in the booth. Kanye was walking me around record plant, talking to me, and I was just like, so that's nice.
About John.
I have to, this is, bruh, you know, but no, it's all family, it's all love. But it was very much like, this is the guy I want on this song I have on my first album in the UK. And we eventually met, and John was just like, yo, your work ethic is amazing. Who you are, your assuredness, and come on over here. And then we did the second album, Shine, which is American Boy. And here we are.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So we can all thank Roscoe's
How about
for the
that?
Grammy.
I do every week when I order from them.
Yeah, exactly.
It's great.
That is hilarious.
They know me.
I was curious to ask you, you know, I did something recently where I converted all these home videos of mine from VHS tapes to, you know, digital files or whatever so I can have them forever. And while revisiting my youth and these home videos, I remembered so many things I had forgotten, and I was curious, this must have been a little bit like that for you, getting back to your roots and getting back these memories. Did anything like spring up in your mind? You're like, oh, you know what? I forgot about that.
Oh, so much. This is actually the story of my parents. I started to go back into time and like talk to my parents about their whole union just because I took like a whole therapy session, and I started to realize I was actually repeating stories in my life that they had done based on what I'd seen, you know. And you don't realize you're doing it until you're doing it, right? Until someone points out, like, you know, that's like a repeat of what you did the last time, and where did you find that behavior? And I was like, wait a minute. So I started talking to my mum more, and then she started explaining her experience with my dad, which was they met under, my mum was not trying to hear it for no men this day, and my dad walked in the room, and they kind of were like, ooh, which is the basis for the video for Better, kind of the only two people in the room. And they fell in love, had me 9 months later, had two other sisters. They broke up when I was 3. They got back together when I was 23. And they got married when I was 33. And so this is kind of their story. So talking to my mom through it all was just like, oh my goodness, and that's what was happening? You know, like things that happened as a child, like from when my dad actually physically left. I remember that day to when he would come and visit us at school. I was like, I remember seeing him. It was just so many traumatic but also really happy memories of their story, you know? Yeah. So, yeah, a lot of things kicked up.
Totally. That's a great point, because I think a lot of times we think back and we remember the emotions, and then maybe we connect the dots with some of these events. And you're like, oh, well, that's why I felt that way as a kid, and that's why those things happened.
Exactly.
It's funny you bring up, you know, going to therapy and learning these things. A lot of artists feel that making records is therapeutic.
It's part of it.
Yeah.
Therapy is ongoing. Like, we never stop. Like, and it's not a bad word, and I know crazy is the reason, right? It's not. It's when you're slightly confused as to why you're doing the same things. Yeah. So you try and talk it out and speak it out and say it out in real life, and then someone helps you figure out. There's nothing wrong with that. It's absolutely what you should do. And that's what we do every day with records. I got to realize how I would use music as therapy on my second album here with Thank You. And I didn't get a chance between recording Thank You and breaking up with somebody to have a real breakup. So I would get on the road and I'd be out here singing Thank You like these. You know, like breaking down on stage, like, I can't sing, guys. I'm just going to stand here and cry for 3 minutes. And realize that was my therapy sessions on the road. And so I started to really think about myself and how I look after myself and how I take care of my mental health and, you know, and my heart and just myself, because I feel like if I'm not here, it's a wrap, you know? If I don't take care of myself, this is all for nothing.
Exactly.
You know? So I had to check myself out.
Definitely.
Yeah.
This might be it's a hard thing to quantify, but I'm curious to ask: is there a song looking back through your catalog, and you have such a deep catalog, that was particularly therapeutic, or maybe most therapeutic looking back?
Other than Thank You?
Other than Thank You, yeah. Other than Thank You.
Let me think.
Or would Thank You just be number one above all else?
Well, one that was a direct hit. Like I got off the phone, and then I went in and recorded this, almost freestyled it with John. And we were in LA, and I got off the phone with a dude in London I was having a situationship with.
A situation?
A situation.
Wait, let's define situationship.
Oh my God. So you know when you're out with somebody and you really can't like call them your boyfriend, but like that's who you see? That's who you having your stuff, you having sex with and stuff, and then like you be like, but no, it's not my boyfriend. How do we quantify this? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was having that moment for the longest time, and I was like, oh, this is crazy, you know. And I was like, so like, why are we just friends? Why is this always the label, the term? But when we're out, you know, you don't want to see me talk to no other guys, and I can't be, but you know, you out here with every other woman walking, like, bruh. You know, it was just trash. And I walked into the studio and I was like, I sang More Than Friends and wrote my bars real quick, and that was one direct, like, boop, boop, boop.
It's right there.
Yeah, took
That's
me
amazing.
10 minutes, yeah.
Well, I think Merriam-Webster, if you're watching at home, we have a new term for 2019. Situationship, right there.
It's terrible.
Yeah, when the
Don't
dude is
do it.
trash.
It's just trash.
That's all the definition needs.
And women can be trash too. We do it to them too. We do. It's crazy.
You worked with so many collaborators on it. I was going down almost the liner notes, and it's almost like a who's who, especially if you're trying to make a lovers rock album. It sounds like. Can you kind of list some of them and just go through the highlights?
Well, I chose a lot of the male artists because it's a love story between my mum and my dad. So I needed to hear the man side of the world. And then a lot of the artists, I'm just fans of them, and I just thought they had great voices and great sounding voices. For me, it's important about, you know, to keep the authenticity and for it not to be like he's on it for hype or they're on it for whatever, because I don't need to do that.
No.
I don't care to. So Chronix being on it, it made sense. Like, I just love his vibe. He's so cheeky. You know, he's cheeky. It's good. Conscience is another one that to me is like just a dope sounding voice and a good dancehall artist. He's one of the ones to me that has a real future out here. Who else? Cranium is another one that's like they just came out. All these artists just came out and are themselves in such an authentic way that it's hard. They're so potent. They're just so like, no, this is me, this is me, this is me, you know? And 3 different artists in the same genre, reggae music. Beautiful, you know? It just opened the gate a little bit. The female artists I had on it, Alakai Harley, Nick and Navy, who was signed to my label, EST 1980, which is brilliant, and Hood Celebrity. I love Hood Celebrity because I've met her in person, working backwards. I met her in person. She's just so nice. You know, like her energy, her spirit is truthful. It's like, for want of a better phrase, and not to compare, but it's like looking at Cardi B in real life, but the reggae version, where she's just like, nah, she's herself. And I appreciate that. I love that about artists when they're like, no, this is in real life and then on the gram and whoever else and on my records, you know?
Exactly.
And Alakai Harley is an artist from the UK. All these women are self-starters. You know, she came up and she said, look, I'm going to do this and I'm going to cross genres and I'm going to sing and I'm going to chat and I'm a lady saudis, but I'm also going to be out here giving you bars and riffs, you know. And I'm just like, this makes me so happy. You know, it's like looking at little me's kind of thing as far as just like the get up and go of it all and the independence of it all. I love him. So
That's
I wanted to help the platform.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my, I can't wait to hear this. Now, I love doing this just to tease the fans a little bit. You've put out a number of records off Lovers Rock. What is one track that is not out right now that you are so excited for the world to hear?
Well, they've heard Love Like Ours and Better. I really cannot wait for people to hear So Easy. Okay. It features Luke James.
All right.
Now, Luke James, who people may know from Star and just like being a phenomenal singer and a good-looking guy. It's fine. My little brother, though, I can't. But he's just a spirit and an energy that is just big, just vast to me. He's such a great singer. He's so dope at what he does. He's so committed to everything he does in a truthful way. And he's just great. You know, we wrote this record So Easy like 6 years ago. This is when we started. And it's about it kind of encapsulates the whole album. When love is right, it's supposed to be easy. Mm-hmm. It's not supposed to be, to me, in my life, it's dysfunctional if it's hard and you're butting heads all the time and it's always that's dysfunctional to me. That's not the point. You're going to go through your rough times, so try not to be in drama with the person that you're supposed to love, is my point. And so this song is about it just being easy and just, you know, yeah, I'm in pain sometimes. Yeah, whatever. But you make it easy to be, to get through the painful times, and you make it easy to push through the drama, you know? Yeah.
It shouldn't be a situationship.
It should not.
Right.
It should be a clear distinction of what you... No, I'm joking. Here's what we are, and this is what's happening. And nah.
Amazing. All right, well, we have so many fans in attendance today. I'd love to turn it over to them. We have a number of studio audience questions. The first will come from back here.
Hi. Okay.
I was just wondering if you planned on touring with any of the old school lovers rock artists like Ken Booth. Or
Oh, my goodness.
I would love that.
Be the whole dream. That would be the whole dream. I mean, I feel like it'd be like what they want to work with me, my little newbie behind. You know, like, they're the kings. They're the ones that, like, set us up. You know, I think it would be fun to do that, but also I feel like I'd want to bring a whole new audience over to them. You know what I mean? So I'd probably have, like, a Ken Booth and then put a Luke James on it. You know what I mean? It'd be good. I just got a chance to open up for, was it Barrett and Levy in the park the other week? And I was just like, first of all, I don't know why I'm here. It's Barrett and Levy. Skip it away. You know, like I had a whole rotation in my soul before he got on stage. And I'm just always, you know, I give respect to the people that went up before me so I could be here just on some authentic-ish. But like, yeah, I'd love to. It'd be cool. It'd be fun. It'd be a good time. For sure.
Great question. We have time for a couple more. The second one will come from up here.
Hi. You spoke about confidence earlier. How, especially now that you are, you know, the head of a record label and you have other people that you're leading, how do you kind of manage those, like the confidence and keeping your spirits high through all of that?
I follow my gut a lot. I used to have this real problem with always needing the validation or feeling like in order to lead, you have to get 57 different opinions because that shows you're a good leader, and that just confuses you. And you always end up back at your gut feeling anyway. So I kind of take the time now and I approach it differently. I follow my gut and I kind of farm out the work and ask them just to do it in the way that they know best instead of being like, hey, I want to do this. What do you think? You know, kind of more like, hey, I think this should happen. How can you best achieve this? You know, that's kind of my approach to it now. And I feel like that gets better results versus just doubting myself, you know, staying in the space of consistent. I'm not too sure. It's terrible. Doesn't work for me. That's it.
Awesome.
Thank you.
All right, we have time for one final question.
Hi.
Hi.
So you spoke a lot about like self-care and just being able to take care of yourself. And it's no secret that you have a beautiful voice. How do you keep up with your regimen? Like, what's your key to taking care of your voice?
Oh, it's hard. Well, they say sleep, right? That doesn't happen. I try. Yeah, when I can, I sleep. People always ask me what's my best pastime. Sleeping. It's great. It's wonderful. My bed is glorious. But I'm a health nut too. So colloidal silver, which is like liquid echinacea, is good for everything. My mom was a very health conscious mom growing up, and I used to hate it. And now I'm just like, this is great. Tell me more. You know, well, how do you do that again? What do I take? You know, she gives me all the medicines. So colloidal silver is a very big help for me. And honey is another thing. It's another natural thing. I try and stay away from drugs, like as far as like, you know, the pills and the whatever else is and the antibiotics and the da-da-das, unless it's a real issue. Then I'm just like, nah. Get this done. Get me to the doctor, get me the drugs. But I try and just keep it consistently healthy, and it's consistency that does it. So honey after you come out from a club, echinacea, colloidal silver in the morning and nighttime, just to balance out whatever you've taken in and kind of level you out a bit. So I just try with that. And then I don't talk a lot other than when I'm doing this stuff. Because it's a lot. Yeah.
Thank you.
It's your literal throat. Sorry.
Thank you for your question.
Thank you.
All right, we're unfortunately out of time, Estelle, but thank you so much for stopping by. Again, the record Lovers Rock is available everywhere September 7th. Be sure you check it out. And once more, Estelle.
Thank you. Thank you.